Hi Cancer, welcome to your month ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, thank you so much. You know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. If you are not on my mailing list, you are not getting the monthly general overview. It is another reading, so just like I do the weekly general overview, I do a monthly one as well, and the only way that you will get that is if you are on the web mailing list. The web link is below. For those of you that have asked if you would like to donate, you can do so on the PayPal link below. With that said, thank you so much for all of that, and let's get started. My lunar brothers and sisters, let's have a look. I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you, or should I say us, on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what July has in store. Oh, and by the way, just in case you thought I'd forgot, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Let's have a look at your actions and your interactions with the world at large, right? So let's take a look, see. This month, you get the High Priestess, bam. This is Cancerian energy in its highest and purest form, right? It doesn't come much more Cancerian than the High Priestess. She of the veil, she of the other world, the lady of the mysteries. Now, right, this is where it gets exciting. Your actions and interactions with the world at large is what you do. It's the steps that you take. The High Priestess is about hidden things revealed. So it could be this month that you are talking about things that you have either buried, things that you've hidden, things that you haven't necessarily wanted to share for whatever personal reason. And it really feels for me like this month you're saying, you know what, I'm ready to talk about who I am. I'm ready to open up to the world about my story. I'm ready to let people see the deepest parts of myself. And when you can do that, when you can, yeah, I've just got the shiver up, you know, it's when the tingles come, that's when I know, right? It's when you can share the depth of who you are and say, you know what, I'm fettered, totally free, totally safe and secure in the knowledge of who I am and what I am truly about. That's when you move into a real space of manifestation. It's when you move into a real space of power. This is a genuine bearing of self this month. This is the month where you're going to literally lift off the veil and let the whole, I think what does she say, the super, tonight I'm going to take off the mask and let them all get a good look at me, right? That is very much it. This is the month where people are seeing you for who you truly are and what you are truly about. And that's a really beautiful place to be in. And the reason it's a beautiful place to be in is because when people can see your soul, they tend to fall in love with you even more. This is, you know, this is the month where you can basically be yourself. You've got your solar return taking place this month as well. The sun has come back into Cancer, so you're celebrating that this month. And there is a big part of, I see the solar return, right? The sun is consciousness, it's light, it sheds a light on something. When it comes back into your sign, it's traveled the whole zodiac through the year. It's got new knowledge, new information, new insight, right? All of these new experiences for your subconscious, your psychic ability or awareness of the world to draw on and from. So this really gives you a blueprint of where it is that you want to go next. So you're revealing to everybody, especially those that know you most, this is me, this is my story, this is what I've been through, this is who I am now, this is what I've become in relation to the shit that tried to hold me down. Look at what I've done with it. Look how I've managed to transmute that. What a beautiful expression. The other thing as well, a lot of you will be chasing those psychic impressions this month. A lot of you may be signing up for something, you know, for a tarot course, maybe signing up for psychic development, maybe delving into astrology, any of the psychic or what I call the intuitive arts. I like that. I don't know why, but I like that. Sounds good. You know, anything of that nature this month is highlighted for you. Going to get those things, getting tarot readings. Yes, I know, even with the Mercury retrograde for sure. But getting tarot readings, because it's kind of like, and I feel like that's one of the things that's worth mentioning, because we've got that Mercury retrograde happening the whole month. The information that you can rely on will be the stuff that comes from internal and the stuff that comes from anybody in this field. And I'm not telling you to go and book a reading with me. What I'm saying is anyone that you go to that you can trust, that you know is good, this month will be on point because they're relying more on this as opposed to all of that, right? So let's have a look at your money and materials this month. You've got the Judgment card, right? So this is interesting because it kind of suggests that your finances themselves are going through a resurrection. And that shit is important, right? That's really, really important. When you see the Judgment card, it always precedes massive changes, big changes. And the image that I'm actually seeing for this is a tidal wave, right? So you could very well find this month that money, finances start to shift, start to change. And you're like, okay, this is cool. You get a little trickle. And then all of a sudden it just kind of starts to build and build and build. And before you know it, it just constantly keeps pouring in. If you've been worried about finances, if you've been having a tough time of it with your finances, this month your finances themselves are going through the resurrection. This is going to be really, really fantastic. For others of you, because I've got the Judgment card and the High Priestess, those of you that have been waiting for a message from the other side, this month is where it comes through, right? And the chances are the message that they bring you, whether it's you know, if it's a loved one or a friend that you've lost, this month is very well could be the month where somebody comes through. It could be via a dream, possibly more than likely a dream or a feeling or an impression. But it looks like they're bringing you not just that I'm here, I'm okay, I'm safe, like all the rest of it, but actually they're giving you something that could be a fully formed idea that ends up being very lucrative. Use all of your internal faculties and your psychic awareness this month, because the chances are you could really strike gold in some way, shape or form. So the your communications with the world at large, you've got the Eight of Cups, right? So this month, because the Eight of Cups is about walking away from an emotional disappointment, the fact that it comes with the Judgment card, there's going to be, and you've got the High Priestess there ruling the whole thing, there's going to be a dropping of a veil. This month you are making a decision to walk away from somebody, and it could come through a conversation that kind of starts one way, and you're kind of, and before you know it, you're like, okay, so how did we get from hi, it's nice to see you, to I don't actually want to interact with you anymore? You really need to be very, very conscious of your communication this month. And the reason being is because you're coming from this place, right? You're coming from this is who I am. All of who I am is up and open and out there for all to see. You're coming from a place of purity, and anybody that's not matching that vibration, this month you will not have time for, and you will actually probably, it looks like a month of it to be fair, you and Gemini are calling people out this month, like really just kind of saying it as you see it. And that Eight of Cups does suggest that it might be an old hurt, it might be an old wound, and you know, even that, it's a good practice to let people know what they've done in their lives or in your life that may have hurt you, rather than just let it sort of fester underneath the surface, right? So then you've got the Eight of Swords, very interesting. What do I notice there straight away, which I'm sure you're all picking up on? You've got two eights, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. For those of you that are single, this is a month for you to stay single. You could be making a decision between two people that are very, very different, in all fairness, right? You could, why do I say that? Eight of Cups, Eight of Emotions, Eight of Swords, Eight of Thoughts, right? Now, when I see this, for those of you that are single, this month I see you saying to yourself, I cannot be tied down. I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to be held down by anything. And it kind of feels like the prospects that are being offered to you this month will feel restricted. That doesn't mean that you don't have to make a decision, right? You've got the High Priestess, the Lady of Decisions herself. Look at the two pillars, right? Then you've got the cups, then you've got the swords, and they're both an eight. Very, very interesting. For those of you that are partnered, this looks like an old hurt is going to resurface. It looks like the power dynamics between you in your relationship could very well get a bit messy, right? So this is the month where you really need to pay attention to your partner, to what they're actually saying and the words that are coming out of their mouth and how it makes you feel. It's not enough just to look at them and say, right, I'm going to honor and cherish you for how you feel. You need to take responsibility for how you feel as well, and how you're responding to something that they're saying, right? Because if your intuitive faculties are on point this month, as I really believe they will be, If they're saying something but meaning something else, you're going to sniff that shit out straight away, right? You're really, really on point with that. So, the number 8 itself represents power, it represents dynamics, power dynamics, it represents eternity, right? It's the Mobius veil, it's that never-ending cycle or story. It's the things that, it's the cycles that we go through. What's the apart from, well, yeah, there's no more cyclic being than the moon besides human beings themselves, because the moon goes through phases, right? You know, the sun doesn't go through phases. Everything revolves around the sun. The moon itself goes through phases. She waxes, she wanes, she hides, she presents. You know, she does the whole, I mean, I can talk about this stuff because I'm a Cancer moon, and I'm really proud of that fact. I was born under a full moon in the sign of Cancer. So, you know, and I think it's at the 20th degree. So, you know, she's in there, right? And I totally get it. The number 8 as well is not just about power, it's about manifestation. It's about what you want to bring into the world, what you want to create on this earthly plane, where it is that you want to take something of a spiritual nature and give birth to it, like the High Priestess. What's the first gate that we all go through in life? We all pass through the High Priestess, you know, to call it, you know, in, what's the word, not blatant, you know, to get graphic about it, we all pass through the High Priestess's gate when we're born, right? To put it as blunt as it gets. So the first week of the month, we've got the Magician card right underneath the High Priestess. Well, holy fuck balls. I mean, look, I'm even starting to sweat now. My bloody nose is starting to run and all sorts. It's crazy. So this is really interesting. When you get the High Priestess and the Magician together, this talks about magic. It talks about manifestation, but it talks about all kinds of psychic, spiritual power. This is a month where you can be feeling extremely powerful. You'll be supercharged this month, maybe even to the point of being a little uncomfortable with how much energy you're holding. Use it wisely. This kind of energy doesn't come very often. When you see the High Priestess like this with the Magician card, that, I mean, the Magician is the male, the phallus, right? It's the projectile force. The High Priestess is the cup, the receptive, the feminine receptive, where she takes that power that he shoots out and she forms it and gives it life. When you see these two cards together, you're talking about manifestation. So pay attention to what you're manifesting this month. Pay attention to your thoughts, especially pay attention to your dreams. Dreams are big magic, big magic. Second week of the month, you've got the Emperor card with the Judgment card, right? So this is really interesting. Yeah, finances are going through a massive upswing this month. And when I said resurrection, for sure. I mean, the Judgment card represents Pluto, right? So it gives you that deep transformation. The Emperor card represents the sign of Aries, right? And the Emperor himself is about establishing a law, establishing what is effectively, and I use this phrase for Gemini as well, is what your new normal is, right? This is the new normal. So what starts to come in, what starts to be created from here on in is going to be powerful stuff, and it's all down to you having done the work. The Magician card right next to the Emperor there, this suggests that there is a very powerful person in your midst this month. Somebody that could really help you, somebody that could really help you get ahead in some way, shape or form. Somebody that is really supporting you to get to where you would like to be, right? This may not necessarily be the month where the vision itself becomes whole, but I tell you, you will start to see and feel things moving in a very, very big way. I mean, that alone is manifestation, right? It really is. All of these cards kind of suggest there's something coming from the spiritual realm into the physical realm this month, and it's powerful. Third week of the month, you've got the Death card, right? So this is the end of something, and literally with the 8 of Cups there, this could be about it looks like a friendship, to be honest. It looks like a friendship could be coming to a close or to an end. It does look like, as well, with the Death card and the transformation. The other thing as well I want you to notice here is this. With the 8 of Cups, it could be that this month your communications take on an air of, it's almost like everything takes on an air of finality. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like whatever's happening now, it's going doom, 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 doom. so that whatever happens next is kind of just ultimate forward progression. Really, really exciting. Also a little bit kind of like, because this is my moon sign as well, so I'm like, oh shit. The Emperor is number 4. The Death card is number 13. 1 of 3 gives you 4, right? These two are polar opposites because the Death card represents the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio used to be ruled by Mars. So, you know, you've got a double hit of this Martian energy as well, which is interesting and intense. And then finally, the 4th week of the month, you've got the Sun card. I mean, this is it, right? Cancers, here you go. Here is the best month of your year entirely. And this isn't going to be like a, oh yay, July peaks and then it all goes to shit. This is like that springboard, right? This is that month where you're being pulled back like an arrow so you can shoot off into the stratosphere and become whatever it is that you choose to. You've got the High Priestess there, she's the moon, I talked about that, and then you've got the sun here, right? When you get, so you've got Ma and Pa, so to speak, together there, and then here with the actions and interactions in the 4th week, you've got the sun and the moon, right? That's growth, it's abundance, it's blessings, it's birth, it's bringing something into actuality. There is something about all of these cards that really just feels like something becomes real this month. And it's not about like, oh, you know, like a wish fulfilled. This is about something that you have put the effort into, and this month you see a big reward, a big payoff for it. Key to the month, the Ace of Swords. You've got to choose it. It's not enough for you to live in your mind and do the whole fantasy thing and, you know, yeah, I'm going to manifest this. No, you've got to do the work. You've got to choose it. You've got to claim it, right? The Ace of Swords is not about being wishy-washy. It's, again, a very similar message to the Gemini message. You're either all in or you're all out. You've got to make that decision. You have to claim it this month. You've got to say to yourself and to the universe, you've given me everything that I need in order to create all that I say I desire. Now it's up to me to make that decision, to claim it from you, to say, look, you know what? I asked for this, you've delivered all of the materials, now watch what I'm going to do with it. This is about true co-creation. You ask for something, the universe delivers. Once it delivers, you unpack that shopping basket and you cook a fucking 5-course banquet, right? That's what it's about. All the components that you need are here this month. I got goosebumps, man. Like, all the components that we need are here this month. It's now just about creating it, right? You've got everything you need, Cancer. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.